Jeopardy Double by Gary Ives. Read by Gary Ives. 6 years ago, the Jeopardy bus came to the Gulf Coast. Jerry, my identical twin, drove over and spent the day at the Holiday Inn in Mobile, taking written tests and competing with a herd of other nerds, and ended up getting selected. The next week, a registered letter from Los Angeles with a non-refundable plane ticket, hotel reservations, and cashier's check for $400 travel expenses to fly out to LA the next month for the taping of the contest arrived. Also enclosed was a contract Jerry had to sign in which he agreed not to disclose any Jeopardy information, follow the dress code and other rules to obey while he was on the set. Rules such as under no circumstances will a contestant argue with Mr. Trebek, and under no circumstances will a contestant challenge the validity of any Jeopardy question, and under no circumstances will profanity be expressed, blah, blah, blah. Failure to follow the provisions of the contract or the on-set rules would make the contestants liable for all expenses, including the advanced travel tickets and cash. Once signed, the scheduled date of the taping was sacrosanct and could be changed only by death in the family or severe illness verifiable by Jeopardy's attorneys. Jerry signed the contract and would have flown to LA had he not gotten arrested in Pensacola the day before he was to leave. He had been caught on videotape loading 3 flat-screen TVs off the loading dock at Circuit City into his white van. And he'd been seen by a warehouse manager who picked him out of the police lineup. Our dad was so pissed about this he stayed drunk and refused to throw bail for Jerry, who was in the clink until his court date. Me, I wasn't having none of this, and frankly, since it was me, not Jerry, who boosted those TVs, the best place for my ass was out of state. I reckon it was kismet. I'd take Jerry's place on Jeopardy. After all, it'd save him from having to refund the travel money. Yeah, we share the same DNA, being identical twins, but up inside our heads, we have always been opposites, and we pretty much always hated one another. He's a tattletale, pussy nerd, know-it-all, straight arrow son of a bitch who hangs out with the flit of other faggy grad school nerds. For me, school's always been a waste of time. When I found out I hadn't made the football team, I quit high school and got me my GED, thereby saving 2 years of good times. Anyway, let me get back to this Jeopardy thing. First thing I did was borrow Jerry's student ID card and driver's license from his desk drawer. Then I cashed that cashier's check, scored a quarter ounce, and headed to LA. Jeopardy contests stay at the Radisson in Studio City, a really nice place. There was a fruit basket and a big envelope with instructions and an autographed picture of Alice Trebek in my room. Among the instructions, contestants, all of whom were staying at the Radisson, were cautioned to keep apart and not socialize. I seen this 4-eyed chick in a room close by the elevator, and I knew right away she was a contestant on account of the fruit basket. Her door was cracked. I pointed at her and said, "Jeopardy?" And she nodded her head. "Me too." "Hey, sweetie, want to get high?" And I made the universal sign of token up. "No, certainly not. And we are not even supposed to be talking." "Okay, sweet cakes. You're lost. I'm going to kick your ass on the TV tomorrow, bitch." I laughed as she slammed the door. Next morning, a van from the studio picked us up. Four Eyes wouldn't even look at me without she gave me the stink eye. Fuck her. I asked the other contestant, some black dude, if he had a cigarette, and he looked at me like I was crazy. He tells me, "You are not supposed to be wearing jeans and a t-shirt with a beer logo. Didn't you read your instructions?" I stared back at him, and I said in my best Ebonics, "I didn't ask for no fashion advice, just a smoke, bro." It was plain he didn't like me, and so I added, "Not many brothers on Jeopardy, huh?" When we got to the studio, my new friends ignored me, which pissed me off, so I tripped the black dude. He went ass over tin cup and smacked his head on the plate glass. His glasses were on the pavement and there was blood on the glass door of the studio. "Did you see that?" I yelled. "That bitch tripped the brother. She tripped his ass. I saw her. In the van she kept telling she was going to get his ass. She was going to smoke his ass." It didn't work. Some suit from the studio read me the riot act, and two assholes in blue blazers escorted me back to the hotel, checked me out, and put me on a plane back home. They wouldn't even let me keep the picture of Alex. Bastards. Back home, I told everybody about how Alex and me hit it off, and he let me drive his Rolls Royce over to Pat Sajak's, and how we all got high and took turns spanking Vanna White, who really dug it and asked me for my phone number. In the morning, I'm driving my brother Jerry's van up to my Uncle Bill's in Arkansas, and he won't need a car for a while.